views on Eritrean news. Hello, viewers. Hope you all are doing well and keeping yourself safe and healthy. Hello, Mr. Sajid. How are you?
I'm fine, Ms. Sharma.
Well, Mr. Sajid, today is 24th of May and it is the Independence Day of Eritrea. Like every year, there are grand celebrations taking place all over the country, especially capital Asmara, where foreign delegates, dignitary diplomats have gathered with a big number of Eritreans. And as like every year, Mr. Isaias Afwerki has given an address to the nation. But it seems that this year he has challenged USA. But before we come to the main focus of today's discussion, I would like to know what was his body language like? How was he looking overall?
Well, first of all, congratulations to all Eritreans. It's their Independence Day. Yes, they fought for this independence, they sacrificed. Though we can argue if they were able to get the fruits of the independence or not. But Eritreans celebrate this day, opposition groups as well, though some say their struggle was wasted. But still, it's a day of celebrations. We have seen celebrations start early. Celebrations start early, by the way. I have been monitoring the festivals abroad in Europe, America, in Eritrea. There is mood of festivity. So, congratulations. Now, coming back to your question, body language of the president. I covered his speech last year, do I remember? This year, Isaiah seemed much more confident. It seemed as if he was speaking like a victor, a man who had won some sort of struggle, very confident, very vocal, and he did not pull any punches today. He criticized his opponents a lot. So basically, I think it was speech of a man who believes that he's in a commanding position in the region now, it seems.
So, did he say anything about Eritrea, Eritreans?
Well, you know that Isaias Afwerki loves to talk about international relations. He loves to talk about global developments, world order. He talks less on Eritrea. Why? Because perhaps he has nothing to show as his performance for the last 30 years. More than 30 has been in power, but he does not have lots of projects to present. He talked a little about Eritreans, about the struggle for independence, obviously. He talked a little about projects as well, which could be planned, which could be executed in coming days, but no extensive details. We've been seeing that. We saw this pattern in his speeches, in his interviews, that he does not focus much on Eritrea, on Eritrean people, on Eritrean internal issues. And partly, I think, because the celebration in Asmara Stadium today, it was attended by large number of foreign dignitaries, ambassadors, international organizations were there. So he addressed them, I personally think. There were Eritreans, too large number of Eritreans. When Isaias Afwerki entered the stadium, hundreds just rushed to welcome him as if people were waiting to just be with Isaias Afwerki. But mainly he focused on international issues. I think it was more than 10-minute long speech, if I am not incorrect. but much of his speech was focused on international affairs, as if he was announcing the start of a new world order.
Well, he's very fond of speaking about international relations and with other countries, the relationship he has. Did he say anything about China, Russia, and how did he challenge USA?
He spoke a lot about China, about Russia, about US, especially US and West. He said new world order is emerging. Then he mentioned US Russia confrontation of 1990s, before and after. And he said that around 1990s, US was focused on containing Russia. China was not seen as a potential rival. But now China is being seen as a potential rival by the US, and US will try to confront China. He is just back from China. We know that he visited the 4-day official visit on the invitation of Chinese President Xi Jinping. And I think 2 days ago, Eritrean state-owned television aired a documentary reporting that in coming days, several projects in Eritrea would be launched by China. So he was all praise for China in his speech. He was very critical of the US, of the West. He accused West and US that almost all conflicts in the world in the last 80 years were they happened because of Western and US interventions. Tall claim, obviously no one would agree with that, but he just blamed US and West for whatever is happening in the world, that insecurity, conflicts in the entire world are because of policies of the US and West. And he talked about
Yeah, my next question is, did he say anything about Sudan or Ethiopia?
Ethiopia, yes, he mentioned Ethiopia. Before that, I was just talking about his talk on regional issues. He said that in the last 5 years, US backed and US, because of US, 3 wars broke out in the region, in Eritrean neighborhood. Did not name, but I think he was mentioning, he was referring to the war in Ethiopia, 2020, and then war in Yemen, and the ongoing war in Sudan. I think he accused US and West that they fueled the 3 wars in the region in the last 5 years. So basically, he blamed what is happening in the region on the US. Your question about Ethiopia, what did he say about Ethiopia? Again, he blamed US. That US has been opposing, US and Western countries, they've been opposing, they opposed Eritrean independence struggle. And even after that, these countries did not want Eritrea, Ethiopia to be on friendly terms. And they tried to create conflicts between Ethiopia and Eritrea. He did not say much about TPLF. Perhaps TPLF is no more a threat to Eritrea. That is what he believes. But again, he mentioned US for whatever is happening in Ethiopia, in Sudan, in the Horn of Africa, in the world. And you asked about Sudan as well, that what did he say about Sudan? We know that Isaias Afwerki wanted to be a mediator in Sudan before the start of war in Sudan. He sent a special message to Sudanese president, Sudanese general Abdul Burhan. That offer of mediation was rejected by Al Burhan. And then war broke out in Sudan. But we saw that a few days ago, Al Burhan's representative, Dafullah, visited Eritrea. He delivered special message from Al Burhan to Isaias Afwerki. So he believes that war in Sudan is also because of foreign interference. He said that Sudanese don't have internal mechanism for resolution of conflicts. And secondly, there is no regional involvement. Perhaps he was complaining that he was not allowed to intervene for the solution. That is why war broke out in Sudan. And he is supporting that there should be regional intervention in Sudan. Again, he's accusing the US and outsiders that they are fueling the conflict in Sudan.
So, each time whenever he comes and addresses his nation, we always hope that he'll have a plan in place for them. But unfortunately, none of his speeches have those. And it is an Independence Day, and we were all again expecting him to give some kind of plan, internal plan. But again, he was focusing on other countries and the relationships, international relations which he has.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
last
you're right.
time, and last time we talked about foreign policy of USA, and yes, China was a big concern. That's what we also said. So it is kind of an endorsement that, and I think it has a lot to do with his recent visit to China.
Yeah, you're right. He is full of confidence. He believes that he has gained. Maybe he got some. By the way, today Xi Jinping issued a congratulatory message on this day for Eritrea, and he said that this is the time that Eritrea and China should take their partnership to a new strategic level. So Isaias is seeing that through strategic partnership with China and maybe Russia too, he can counter US influence in this region. I just want to see his plan for Eritrea, for the people of Eritrea. Does he have anything in store in terms of projects? I mean, yes, he can team up with the China to curtail US influence in this region. Question is, did he achieve anything for Eritrean people through the 4-day long visit? Chinese, they want to be in Eritrea. They want to have their presence there. What is Eritrea going to get in return? Maybe he got some assurances, some investment, some promises from China. That is why he's full of confidence, and he believes that new world order is emerging. By the way, he said new world order is emerging. Where is new world order in Sudan? In Sudan, war broke out on the 15th of April. Did you see any Chinese involvement there? Where are Chinese there? I mean, from day one, Antony Blinken talking to Al Burhan Hamati, Saudi Arabia talking to Al Burhan Hamati. Talks were held in Jeddah, 2 rounds of talks. Agreement of ceasefire was signed in Jeddah. Where is China?
Yeah.
Chinese influence in this region, I think, is exaggerated a little. US has been involved from day one in Sudan and in Ethiopia too. Who put an end to the war in Ethiopia? It was basically US which backed the signing of Pretoria deal. US convinced TPLF to go to Pretoria and sign the deal. There was no China. Isaias thinks that China is in a position to counter US. I don't agree that. I think Chinese believe in intervention through economic projects. They don't want to be involved directly in conflicts. So US is still a key player in this region, but he is giving this impression that he is on the right side of the history. That future is for China. So that is why Eritrea is on the right side. But question is he going to get something for Eritreans through this partnership with China? That we'll see in coming days.
I hope something good comes out for Eritreans from this Chinese partnership. And I do agree with you that his body language is the reflection of his recent visit. So thank you very much, Mr. Sajid. Any closing remarks?
I was hoping that on this day, he might make some announcements about those who were in prisons in Eritrea for more than 2 decades. Those who were arrested 20 years ago, and their only crime was that they called for democratic reforms. A teenager girl was imprisoned, the daughter of a former information minister. She was not allowed to leave the country. Around 10 years she had been in prison. Several journalists, some died in custody. And a viewer today contacted me, obviously from opposition. He said, Sajid, when Dergs were in power, at least we were allowed to meet our loved ones who were in prisons. At least we were able to see them. But now, people in prisons for decades, we are not allowed to see them. Are they alive? Are they dead? No one knows. So, no announcement for those who are suffering in Eritrea. Isaias Afwerki, I have been saying for the last 2 months, that he is focused on economy. He wants to do something for his people. Though those who criticize me, they say, you're supporting Isaias, but I think that he believes that now he should do something for Eritrean people through economic projects, through foreign investments. But I think he should open up Eritrea. Human rights record is very poor, prisons full of critics. So on this day, he should have made some announcements for the people who are suffering in prisons. Let's hope that his government changes its course and Eritreans will be able to celebrate real Independence Day sometime in future.
Yes, all prayers for all those who are in prison. I hope that they get to celebrate this Independence Day in its true sense someday in near future, inshallah. So thank you, Sajid, and thank you, viewers, for being with us. Don't forget to write us. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.